In this video, I'm going to show you how quickly and how easily you can trace an image in the software. First thing we need to do is to go up to File in the top left, click on File, and we're going to go down to Import, and we're going to click on Import, and then we're going to bring in either a JPEG file or a PNG. Now in this case, I've got a PNG of this lovely looking cat, so I can click on Open to bring that into the software. Now before we get started properly, I need to talk about visibility. Now right now you can see the cat is very visible, this image is very visible, but we need to talk about how it sits on layers. So when you bring in an image, it will sit on its own layer. And when we go to the top here for the layers, you can see I've got a bitmap layer, and I can turn that off by checking the eye icon next to it for visibility. So I can turn that off and turn it back on again. But crucially, this is really handy for organizing your vector data and your image data, because you may want to have your bitmaps on one layer and your vector data on another layer, so they're not all messed up on one layer, and it's easy to organize for your machining when you come to toolpath it. So just thought I'd point that out. And you can also turn off the visibility in the top left on this toolbar just here, where you can click on bitmaps and that turns it off and that turns it back on again. So let's get to tracing. So let's select our bitmap. We'll go all the way over to the left hand side, and we're going to click on this bird looking icon that says trace image. We'll hold down left mouse click, hover over trace image, let go, and we are now in the trace mode. Now you can see I've got a plethora of options here, but we'll go through these one by one so you'll know what to do with each of these when you come to it. So the first option here we have is color trace. Then next to it we have black and white. So these are quite obvious, but I'll go through them anyway, which is that the color trace is for tracing colors. And if you want to do a black and white trace, if you click on this, it will turn your bitmap into a black and white trace, so you can trace just the black and white, or effectively grayscale version of that image. So let's go back to color trace, because I'm going to go through that from my example. And you may have noticed already that my cursor has changed into a color picker, just like this icon at the top here. So let's go through that and see what this does. So let's click onto the color picker, and you'll notice another menu has popped out on the left here. So by default, you will have 16 colors in the color picker. You can change this by adjusting this slider just here. So you can left mouse click it, drag that to the left to make it smaller, and you can make it larger for the threshold if you drag it to the right. You can also set a value by entering a number. So for example, in this box, if I put in the number 7, enter, I now have 7 colors, and I can just increase that back up again if I want to, or indeed press the reset button just here, and that will reset that to 16. Underneath that, you'll notice I have something called a trace color. Now, a trace color is the color that will be shown when I select an area of this bitmap to trace. Let me show you an example. So let's pick the yellow area right here in the middle of the cat's body. So let's left mouse click on that, and you'll notice it's now turned red. That relates to this trace color. So that is telling you that this area is going to be traced. You can in fact see vector data already being traced around that yellow area, and that is in turn due to our preview option up here being on. If I turn that off, you'll notice there's no vector data. If I turn that back on, you'll notice there's the vector data around it again. But you can change this trace color by popping out this menu by clicking on it, and I could change it to white, for example. I could change it to another preset color, or indeed I can pick a custom color. You can click on this wheel just here, and you can play around with these settings, or you can, after you've chosen a color, drag it from this menu here onto here. So for example, if I was to set a very kind of mustardy looking color, I can drag that into that menu, and that's added as one of my favorites for my preset customs, and I can click on that, click out of that menu, and now it's available for me here as a quick selection in this menu. But for now, I'll keep it for the default red, so it's nice and obvious as to what we are doing. So the next thing we're going to cover is actually choosing some of these colors to trace with. Now I did pick the yellow earlier by selecting the yellow over here on the bitmap. You can also just do it in this menu. So if I click off the yellow, you'll notice it's not traced. If I click it back on again, it's now traced. And you can see that I can do that with all the colors around this menu. So it's a really handy menu to have to try and pick out the colors that you want. For example, if I want the yarn ball, I can just click on that one. And if I want the ears, I can either click on here or on this menu to get that data. Now, let's have a look at actually committing a trace. You'll notice that I've had a preview for the vectors, but not a full trace. So let's choose the orange. I think quite a lot of the body I want to trace here. So let's choose the orange. And you'll notice there's a little bit of noise around some of these vectors. And we can actually deal with that by going all the way to the top here and clicking on the noise filter. Now what the noise filter does is effectively allows for the size of pixel that is being picked up. So you can change this to a higher pixel count or a lower pixel count, and you can see how much more smooth your trace gets as you move that slider up. So you can move that up and you can reset that if you want to, but I actually quite like this smooth result. So I'll move that all the way up, and I like how that's looking so far, but I also want these brown parts of the body as well. So I'll just bring those in a moment. So first what I'll do is I'll have this option checked here, which is for group vectors. And when I'll show you what that does when I click trace. So I'll click trace, and that has now traced that area that I have selected. If I turn off my bitmap layer, you'll see the area that has been traced. And if I click on these vectors, you'll notice that they're grouped together. You'll notice that they're a thick pink line, not a dashed pink line, but a thick one. And that means the vectors that have been traced are grouped together. So if I were to move these vectors, or even to delete them, they would all go at once because they're grouped together. Let's turn back on our bitmap layer, and we'll go back into our bitmap color selector. And this time I'm going to choose that brown, but I'll turn off the group vectors icon this time. So this time you can see what it looks like when you have individual and not grouped vectors. So again, I'll click on trace, and this time, instead of turning the visibility off via the menu for the layers or up here, I'm going to show you what this menu does, which is the image fade. So let's click onto that. And you can see I've got another slider, and I can slide that down or up to, or left or right effectively, to fade the image. So you can see now how useful that is, because I can keep the image in the background as much as I need it to be, while also having the vector data be more prominent. So I wanted to show you this because I can now select our vectors here. You can see here that I've got, let me just come out of the tool here. You can see that I've got that vector now selected. And if I turn off the layer just to show you a bit more visibility, and it says on its own. So you can see that this is a dashed line, which means the vector is on its own. Unlike our grouped vectors from earlier, which you can see are a solid line underneath. So you can see here our other vectors that we traced earlier are a big group of vectors, and then we had our individual vectors over here that we've traced just a moment ago. But for now, I'm going to turn back on visibility for our bitmap, and we'll go back into our tool to have a look at some further options with our tracing here. So another cool option that we have in the color picker is to select an area for tracing. So you can left mouse click and drag out a selection box, and you can pick a color. And you'll notice that when I pick that black color, while all the other areas that have that color present have been highlighted in red, they're not traced. You'll notice that the eye is the only one that has been traced. So you can use this selectively to only trace certain areas. You'll notice there, I didn't quite catch the top of the eye. So it's only traced underneath there for the preview and not the top. So if you want to limit your tracing to only a specific area, you can do that by using a selection box. So for example, if I just wanted the mouth and not the nose, I could left mouse click, drag out a selection box, and then you'll see only that part gets traced and no other part will get traced of that color. Even though that color you can clearly see is being represented with red, only that part here is actually being traced. And we can also have a look at the black and white option. If we pop up to the top here and click on black and white trace, you'll notice here, now we've got black and white trace, I can change my threshold. So I'm just going to Command Z to get rid of the vector data I've currently got. So let's get rid of the data I had earlier. And you can see when I change this threshold, how much more gray this gets. So you can go all the way, and then I can bring it all the way down to quite a simple trace really. This is actually quite a nice result. I actually quite like that because you can see I'm picking up all the detail around the ears. You can see the tail is prominent, the yarn ball, the mouth, the eyes, the whiskers, the main body. So you may find that even though you have a color image, you may like to use a black and white option because it may give you a much more distinct look in the end. So you do have the option available to you if you would like to use the black and white trace. And of course you can reset this as well using that reset button just here on the right hand side of that threshold slider. So you can see just like that, if I do the threshold down to, let's say, 0.25, and if I have the option for group vectors, I'll click on trace, and then if I turn off my bitmap layer, wonderful, we have a cat. You can very clearly see that that is a cat, and it's a lovely, nice traced result of our cat there. And then if I turn back on our bitmap layer, we'll just put this menu back into view. We do have something else that I'd like to cover here, which is corner manipulation. So let's just go back into the color picker. I'll just go back into color mode, and you can see there's an option here for Cornet Fit. So let's just deselect that black color for the moment. I'm just going to click on Cornet Fit. I'm going to zoom in on an area, maybe like an ear. I think an ear would be a good example of this. So let's choose this color here. And if I select that, you'll notice that if I just Command Z to undo our previous vector creation, you'll notice at the moment I've got quite a sharp corner here, but let's have a look at what that looks like if I reduce this down. So let me just zoom out just a little bit so you can get that in view. You'll notice as I move the slider down, you get that sharper corner as I move it up and smoother as you go down. So pay attention to that top corner there. You'll notice there it's now rounded. And if I move my slider up, it gets more pointed. And you'll also see other areas like here become affected by the Cornet Fit as well. You'll notice that it gets sharper and smoother as I move this slider around. So if you want to have sharp corners, this is where you need to set this value. So you can set it in the Cornet Fit so you can get nice sharp corners. Or if you want to smooth them out, you can go all the way down the other way for your Cornet Fit and get a much, much smoother result by doing that as well. So you can see here just how powerful the trace image is and just how easy it is to get going with it. So I highly recommend that you have a go at doing one of these yourself, and we would love to see you in the next video.